Have you noticed your sleep getting lighter, your energy fading, and your erections not as reliable as they once were? Most men assume this is just aging. It isn't always. I'm a board-certified urologist, and I've spent decades helping men over 50 restore vitality, confidence, and performance. There's one simple nighttime mistake I see again and again, one that quietly affects blood flow, hormones, and deep sleep. Before we talk about it, tell me where you're watching from, and feel free to subscribe if this helps. But here's what most people don't realize. The changes you notice after 50 are rarely caused by a single problem. They are the result of several quiet shifts happening inside your body at the same time. Many men tell me, "Doctor, my erections aren't as firm, my energy isn't what it used to be, and my sleep feels lighter." They assume these are separate issues. They're not. They are deeply connected through your circulation, your hormones, and your nervous system. Let's start with your blood vessels. As you age, your arteries naturally lose some of their elasticity. Think of them like flexible garden hoses that slowly become a bit stiffer over the years. When vessels are less flexible, blood does not flow as smoothly or expand as easily when needed. Erections depend heavily on this expansion. Energy levels also rely on efficient blood delivery to muscles and organs. Even sleep quality is influenced by how well oxygen and nutrients reach the brain. So when circulation becomes less dynamic, the first signs often appear in performance, stamina, and nighttime rest. Now consider nitric oxide. This small molecule plays a massive role in male health, yet most men have never heard it mentioned by name. Nitric oxide helps blood vessels relax and widen. It's essential for strong erections because it allows increased blood flow into penile tissue. But nitric oxide production gradually declines with age. When levels drop, blood vessels don't relax as effectively. The result? Slower response, reduced firmness, and sometimes that frustrating feeling that your body just isn't cooperating the way it once did. Then comes sleep. After 50, your sleep architecture begins to change. Deep sleep phases often become shorter, while lighter sleep becomes more common. You may fall asleep easily but wake more frequently, or wake up feeling less restored. This matters far more than most men realize. Deep sleep is when your body performs critical repair work. It's when tissues recover, inflammation is regulated, and hormone systems recalibrate. Without enough deep sleep, the body never fully resets. And this leads directly to hormones. Testosterone is not produced at a constant rate throughout the day. It follows a rhythm, strongly influenced by sleep quality. Poor or fragmented sleep can blunt this natural cycle. Lower testosterone rhythm doesn't just affect libido, it influences erection quality, muscle strength, mood stability, and energy. Many men worry, am I losing my masculinity? I tell my patients something very important. This is not a character issue. It's biology responding to disrupted recovery patterns. Next is your nervous system. With age, the body can become more sensitive to stress signals. Even low-grade chronic tension keeps the nervous system slightly tilted toward a fight or flight state. In that state, blood vessels tighten rather than relax. Muscles hold subtle tension. Sleep becomes lighter. Erections become less reliable because the body is prioritizing alertness over restoration. You may not feel stressed emotionally, yet your physiology behaves as if it is under constant pressure. Now notice how these pieces connect. Lighter sleep reduces hormonal balance. Hormonal shifts influence libido and firmness. Circulation changes affect blood delivery and response. Nervous system tension tightens vessels and disrupts sleep further. It becomes a loop, not a sudden breakdown, but a gradual drift away from optimal function. This is why I want you to release one damaging belief. These symptoms are not a personal failure. They are not a loss of manhood. They are predictable physiological changes that can be influenced. Your body is not betraying you. It is adapting to age, lifestyle, recovery patterns, and internal chemistry. And here is something profoundly encouraging. Nighttime biology holds enormous power. While you sleep, your body regulates hormones, repairs blood vessels, balances the nervous system, and reduces inflammatory stress. The night is when restoration happens, if the body has the right support. But what most men never realize is that one specific vitamin directly supports all three. But here's what most people don't realize. One of the most important nutrients for male recovery after 50 isn't a hormone, a stimulant, or a performance drug. It's a mineral your body has relied on your entire life. Vitamin number 1, magnesium. Magnesium supports deep sleep, vascular relaxation, and healthy nerve signaling. In my clinical experience, magnesium is one of the most commonly overlooked pieces of the men's health puzzle. Many men focus on testosterone, medications, or supplements marketed for performance, yet they ignore a mineral that quietly controls hundreds of processes tied directly to sleep, energy, and erections. Let's start with muscle relaxation. Every muscle in your body, including the tiny smooth muscles inside blood vessels, depends on magnesium to relax properly. Without enough magnesium, muscles remain slightly tense, not painfully tight but subtly contracted. This tension affects circulation, physical comfort, and even how easily your body settles into sleep. Now think about your nervous system. Magnesium acts like a natural calming agent. It helps regulate the signals that tell your brain and body when to slow down. When magnesium levels are low, the nervous system can stay in a mildly alert state. You may feel tired, yet wired. Sleep becomes lighter. Small noises wake you. Your mind feels less settled at night. Magnesium also plays a critical role in sleep cycle regulation. Deep sleep, the phase responsible for tissue repair, hormone balance, and neurological recovery, requires stable nerve activity. Magnesium helps stabilize that activity. When levels are adequate, the brain transitions more smoothly into deeper sleep stages. When levels are insufficient, sleep often becomes fragmented and less restorative. And then there's blood vessel dilation. Magnesium helps blood vessels relax and widen. This is essential for healthy circulation. After 50, when vascular elasticity naturally declines, the ability of vessels to relax becomes even more important. Magnesium supports that flexibility. Now let's connect this directly to sleep. Magnesium supports deeper sleep stages. Men who have sufficient magnesium often experience more stable, uninterrupted sleep cycles. They spend more time in slow-wave sleep, the deeply restorative phase where physical and hormonal repair occurs. Magnesium reduces nighttime restlessness. Subtle muscle tension, microspasms, and nervous system overactivity can all disturb sleep without fully waking you. Magnesium helps quiet these disturbances. Magnesium helps maintain sleep continuity. Instead of drifting in and out of shallow sleep, the body remains in longer, more restorative phases. And when sleep improves, everything downstream begins to shift. Better sleep stabilizes testosterone rhythm. Testosterone production is closely linked to deep sleep. If sleep is poor, hormone regulation suffers. If sleep deepens, hormonal balance often improves naturally. Better sleep restores daytime energy. This isn't artificial stimulation. It's true physiological recovery. Men wake feeling clearer, steadier, less fatigued. Now let's talk about erections. Erections rely on smooth muscle relaxation. The penile tissues must relax to allow blood to flow in and remain trapped. Magnesium supports this relaxation at the cellular level. Magnesium supports nitric oxide pathways. Nitric oxide signals blood vessels to dilate. Magnesium helps optimize this signaling environment, supporting healthier vascular responses. Magnesium improves blood flow dynamics. Relaxed vessels and tissues allow circulation to respond more efficiently when arousal occurs. This is why some men notice not just better sleep, but also improved firmness and responsiveness when magnesium status is corrected. Now consider energy. Magnesium is deeply involved in mitochondrial function, the tiny energy-producing structures inside your cells. Low magnesium can contribute to feelings of fatigue, reduced stamina, and slower recovery. Adequate magnesium helps the body produce and use energy more efficiently. And here's something especially important for men over 50. Magnesium absorption declines with age. Even with a decent diet, your body may extract less magnesium than it once did. Stress depletes magnesium. Chronic low-grade stress, poor sleep, caffeine, medications, all can gradually drain magnesium reserves. The result is a slow, often invisible deficiency that shows up not as a dramatic illness, but as subtle declines. Lighter sleep, increased tension, lower energy, weaker vascular response. Now, I want to position this carefully and honestly. Magnesium is not a stimulant. You won't feel a sudden boost like caffeine. Magnesium works through restoration. It supports systems that should already be working: sleep cycles, nerve balance, vascular relaxation. Its effects are often gentle but profound over time. Deeper sleep, calmer nights, steadier energy, improved physiological response. But magnesium alone doesn't complete the nighttime equation. But here's what most people don't realize. Vitamin D is not simply a bone vitamin. In medical science, it behaves much more like a hormone, influencing systems that directly affect male vitality, mood, circulation, and testosterone balance. Vitamin chakra 2, vitamin D. Vitamin D helps regulate hormone balance and vascular function. Most men associate vitamin D with calcium and bone strength. That's true, but it's only a fraction of the story. Vitamin D receptors exist throughout the body, including in the brain, muscles, immune system, and reproductive organs. This means vitamin D doesn't just support structure, it helps regulate function. Think of vitamin D as a master regulator. It interacts with cellular receptors that influence gene activity, hormone signaling, and inflammatory balance. In other words, it helps tell your body how to operate efficiently. Now let's talk about testosterone rhythm. Vitamin D supports healthy testosterone production. Research consistently shows a relationship between adequate vitamin D levels and healthier testosterone balance in men. This does not mean vitamin D boosts testosterone like a drug. It supports the biological environment where normal production occurs. Vitamin D is linked to libido and vitality. Men with low vitamin D frequently report reduced drive, lower motivation, and diminished physical energy. When levels are corrected, many experience improvements in mood, stamina, and overall sense of vitality. Why does this happen? Because hormones operate within a network. Vitamin D influences the signaling pathways that help regulate endocrine balance. When vitamin D is insufficient, hormonal systems can become less efficient and less stable. Now consider erections. Vitamin D supports endothelial function. The endothelium is the delicate inner lining of your blood vessels. It plays a central role in vascular relaxation and blood flow regulation. Healthy erections depend on a responsive, flexible endothelium. Vitamin D supports nitric oxide activity. Nitric oxide is essential for blood vessel dilation. Vitamin D helps maintain the health of the cells responsible for producing and responding to nitric oxide signals. When vitamin D levels are low, endothelial performance can decline. Blood vessels may become less responsive, circulation becomes less dynamic. Over time, this can contribute to weaker erectile response. Now let's connect vitamin D with sleep. Vitamin D influences circadian rhythm. Your body runs on an internal clock that regulates sleep-wake cycles, hormone release, and energy patterns. Vitamin D plays a role in supporting this rhythm. Vitamin D contributes to mood stabilization. Low vitamin D is strongly associated with low mood, irritability, and even depressive symptoms. Mood and sleep are deeply intertwined. When mood suffers, sleep often becomes lighter and more fragmented. Men often tell me, "Doctor, I'm tired, but my sleep doesn't feel refreshing." Sometimes, underlying nutrient imbalances, including vitamin D deficiency, are part of that picture. Now here's something especially important for men over 50. Vitamin D deficiency is extremely common. Aging skin becomes less efficient at synthesizing vitamin D from sunlight. Many older adults spend more time indoors. Sunscreen use, geographic location, and lifestyle all influence production. Even men who feel healthy may have suboptimal vitamin D levels without realizing it. The symptoms are subtle: lower energy, reduced resilience, weaker mood stability, gradual hormonal drift, and less robust vascular response. This is why vitamin D is not about correction of a dramatic illness. It's about restoring a foundational regulator your body depends on for optimal function. And I want to be very clear and medically honest with you. Vitamin D is not a miracle cure. It is not an instant performance enhancer. Vitamin D is foundation support. It helps normalize biological systems that influence hormones, circulation, sleep rhythm, and mood balance. When that foundation improves, men often notice steady, natural shifts rather than sudden changes. Better energy stability, improved mood, healthier libido, and more reliable physiological response. But here is where the story becomes even more interesting. And when vitamin D works together with the next nutrient, sleep and performance can shift dramatically. But here's what most people don't realize. One of the most critical minerals for male hormone stability and long-term vitality is something many men gradually become deficient in without ever noticing. Vitamin number 3, zinc. Zinc supports testosterone production and tissue repair. In men's health, zinc plays a remarkably central role. It is deeply involved in testosterone synthesis, immune regulation, cellular repair, and metabolic efficiency. Yet in men over 50, zinc levels often decline quietly due to changes in absorption, diet patterns, and medication use. Let's begin with testosterone. Zinc is essential for testosterone synthesis. Your body requires zinc to support the enzymatic processes involved in hormone production. Without adequate zinc, testosterone regulation can become less efficient. This doesn't necessarily lead to a dramatic drop, but it can contribute to subtle shifts: lower drive, reduced vitality, slower recovery, and decreased firmness. Zinc acts like a stabilizer. It helps maintain the biological environment where healthy testosterone rhythms are supported. When zinc is insufficient, hormone signaling may lose some of its precision. Now consider cellular repair. Zinc supports cell repair and regeneration. Every day your body repairs tissues, including blood vessels, muscles, nerves, and reproductive structures. Zinc is involved in DNA synthesis and cell division, the fundamental processes behind healing and maintenance. After 50, repair mechanisms naturally slow. Providing adequate zinc helps support these ongoing recovery systems, especially during sleep when restoration is most active. Zinc also plays a major role in immune modulation. Chronic low-grade inflammation becomes more common with age. Zinc helps regulate immune responses, preventing excessive inflammatory activity that can damage blood vessels, disrupt hormones, and impair recovery. Now let's connect zinc directly to erections. Zinc provides hormonal support. Since testosterone influences libido, arousal, and erectile quality, zinc indirectly contributes by supporting hormone balance. Zinc interacts with nitric oxide pathways. Nitric oxide is essential for vascular dilation. Zinc contributes to the function of enzymes involved in nitric oxide signaling, supporting healthier blood flow responses. Healthy zinc levels help maintain the delicate balance between vascular relaxation and contraction, critical for erection strength and sustainability. Now think about energy. Zinc supports cellular metabolism. It participates in processes that allow your cells to generate and utilize energy efficiently. Zinc supports recovery processes. Fatigue is not always about lack of stimulation. Often it reflects incomplete repair. Zinc supports the body's ability to rebuild and recover, which directly affects how energized you feel during the day. Men frequently describe this as more stable energy, not a spike, but a steadier sense of physical resilience. And what about sleep? Zinc supports sleep indirectly through hormone balance. Stable testosterone and nervous system function contribute to healthier sleep architecture. Zinc does not sedate the brain, but it helps maintain the internal chemistry that favors restorative sleep cycles. Now here's something especially relevant for men over 50. Zinc absorption changes with age. The digestive system becomes less efficient at extracting certain minerals. Diet gaps increase. Reduced appetite, dietary restrictions, or lower intake of zinc-rich foods can contribute to gradual deficiency. Medications may interfere. Some common drugs affect mineral absorption or increase excretion. The result is often a mild but meaningful zinc shortfall, not severe enough to trigger alarm, but sufficient to influence energy, immunity, hormone balance, and vascular health. And again, I want to position this with medical honesty. Zinc is a supportive nutrient. It helps maintain normal biological processes. Zinc is not an instant effect supplement. Its benefits accumulate as the body restores balance. Men who correct zinc deficiency typically describe gradual improvements, better recovery, steadier mood, improved vitality, and sometimes enhanced libido and performance. Because what we're discussing is not stimulation, it's restoration of physiological support systems. But there's an important caution most men are never told, but even the right vitamins can backfire if timing is wrong. By now you may recognize something important: the lighter sleep, the fading energy, the less predictable erections. These are not isolated frustrations, and they are not random signs of getting older. They are connected signals from your body. After 50, your physiology becomes more sensitive to recovery, circulation, and hormone rhythm. Small daily patterns, the ones that once seemed insignificant, begin to shape how you feel, how you sleep, and how your body responds. This is not about decline. It is not about losing your edge. It is about understanding a simple biological truth most men were never taught. Your body does its deepest repair at night. While you sleep, blood vessels relax, hormones rebalance, tissues recover, and the nervous system resets. When that process is disrupted, the effects appear everywhere, in energy, mood, libido, and performance. But when men begin supporting that nighttime biology correctly, something shifts. Sleep becomes deeper, energy feels steadier, erections often become more reliable, confidence returns, not loudly but quietly, like your body remembering what it already knows how to do, not because of hype, not because of miracle promises, but because your physiology is finally working with its design instead of against it. And this is exactly where most men make the mistake we're about to address. If this conversation helped you understand your body in a new way, I invite you to subscribe and become part of our growing community dedicated to men's health after 50. Because better sleep, steadier energy, and stronger performance are not about trying to feel young again. They're about working with your biology. In the next video, I'll walk you through a common nighttime timing mistake that can quietly undo even the right supplements. Until then, protect your sleep, support your circulation, and take care of your confidence. Your body is still listening.